We are set to get underway with our hockey action as the Loyola Ramblers goal team take on the Lake Forest Scouts in hockey action. And the drop and the draw is controlled by Loyola Ramblers, breaking across the red line and then dumped the rest of the way into the zone. Brian Kenny's mishandled it, taken by Schragle. And Schragle gave it up to O'Connor. The shot, the save, man in the crease. And the face-off will move outside the zone. Now, got one of our former Metro North players as one of the linesmen today. Federer played for the Nutria. I'm not sure if he played for the Indians, the Cowboys, or possibly played just for the Trevians. Leahy over here to the near side. I know he played for Nutria, though. Back behind the goal line, taken by Leahy again. He's bothered by Davis. And they push it along the boards on the far side. Miller now picked away. Fed ahead, intended for Chula. Joey Chula fed it through the legs and picked up by the Lake Forest Scouts. The Scouts flip it back into the zone deep. Back behind the goal line, Matt Wesley. Wesley puts it to the near side, and that was stolen away by Pat McConaughey and cleared to center ice. McNicholas fed it ahead, picked up and then flipped into the zone by the Lake Forest Scouts, back behind the goal line. Now in the corner, wrapped around to the near side, out to the point, and cleared. And McNicholas has it. McNicholas backhands it ahead for McConaughey, and the brothers McConaughey both missed it. Picked up by Connor Long. Long puts it to the far side, and that's picked up there by Chris Michael, who cleared it to center ice. The mad chase on. The shot and a goal by Dan Skoglund. A little sloppy play at the defense of the Lake Forest Scouts, and then the goal. And it's 1-0 in favor of the Loyola Ramblers goal team. Just underway in the first period. This is the last of the unseeded round hockey. Of course, beginning next week. By the time you see this tape, beginning next week, we will get into what's called the seeded round. The top 6 teams will play in the Scholastic Cup bracket, or the top bracket. The bottom playing in the Founders Cup bracket. That it does not mean, however, that that's where they will play in the playoffs. That we've already set that. That's merely where they finished in the first half of the season. The league playoffs that begin in February. Brian Kenny, and he cleared it up onto the netting, back behind the goal, and the whistle stops the play. I think also the net just lodged. No, we just lost the puck. This is the Metro Chicago Sports Network. Glad to have you with us down the network. And wherever you may be, hope you enjoy our broadcast. Set for the face-off, the drop and the draw. Bounce around a little bit, out to the point, the high slot, the shot, the save. Back behind the goal line. Brought to the near side and cleared out to the red line. Put back into the zone. Peyton Chain couldn't keep it in the zone. Picked up by the Rambler defense. And now flipped the rest of the way into the zone. Taken there by Leahy. Over and on that far side. Out to the point and cleared out to center ice. McConaughey turns it around. Flipped into the zone. Left there by Brian Schilling in goal tonight for the Ramblers. Cleared back into the zone. McNicholas. Off the boards and cleared to center ice. Leahy. Nearly had his pocket picked by Mike McConaughey. Along the near side, boards out, picked up by Peyton Chain. Chain, wheels, turns, takes the shot. Shot it wide. Centered right in front, Mike McConaughey. He clears it to center ice. And then dribbled into the Loyola end. Taken back. And yell dump and chase going on right now. They grabbed and held on. Taylor Rice in goal tonight for the Lake Forest Scouts. The draw is at the near side, out to the point, cleared out to center ice, all the way back into the Loyola end. A bit sloppy on the play. Out to the point and cleared out to center ice. And now the Ramblers bring it back the other way. The long shot, that went wide by Walter Jacobson. Far side, out to the point again. The big blaster by Dudek. And they save the rebound. Still free. And now finally Taylor Rice grabs it and holds on. If the Ramblers had anything resembling a shot, they had Taylor Rice dead to right. This is the Metro Chicago Sports Network. Out to Connor Long. Connor Long with the shot. That ran into traffic. Back behind the goal line. Right into the slot. The shot, the save, the rebound. McNicholas centers it. Oh, a shot, and just wide. It would actually bounce off a stick shot, and that was just wide from the slot. Cleared out to center ice. Mad chase on, and taken by the Lake Forest Scouts. Up ahead now, dribbles out to center ice. Didn't have the stick down, and now the offside against Lake Forest. The left winger being caught. Caught with his feet in the cookie jar, as it were. And we lose the puck right into the Loyola bench. Cleared back out to center ice. And here come the Ramblers. Skoglund again has the lone goal early on. Near side, and the bunch up. Left nowhere to go with the puck. Held in the zone. McConaughey clears it out to center ice. Wesley. Casey Felling. He had his pocket pick. Johnny Brown. Johnny Brown takes the shot, ran into leg, back door, and a goal over the shoulder. And it's 2-0. A goal over the shoulder for the Loyola Ramblers, and they lead it 2-0. And is there a penalty on the end? It appears so. Casey Felling, perhaps? Or did he just climb over? There's no... It appears Casey Felling got a penalty, although I don't know here. What this is about, but apparently Casey Felling did receive a penalty on the end of that. It's hard to tell because in this rink, what happens is that there's no partition between the penalty box and the team benches anymore. The kids sat on them so much that they broke, and they never replaced them. Flipped all the way down into the zone by the Lake Forest Scouts, who are now penalty killing. Back behind the goal line. And the setup to the near side. Matt O'Connor will try and go end-to-end like he always does. Sure enough, did. Shot the save. Someday he's going to learn to pass in the attack zone, and we're going to be a very strange individual. He's going to be so shocked that it'll be an easy goal. O'Connor took it right to the goal and tried a backhand. And Rice right there for it. You know, what's sad with players like that try and do everything themselves is that by doing that, they actually make themselves worse as hockey players because they become very easy to defend against. Back out to the point. Back in deep behind the goal line. Wrapped around to the near side. Brown. The side of the net. McConaughey. And he lost it out to the point. Dribbled to the corner. Now they shot just wide. Chris Michael got that away. And just a little wide. Centered again. I guess that wasn't a penalty because Casey Felling's out there now. Whistle and a man in the crease. No, the net dislodged. Well, I was right. There's a penalty up there, so whatever that was. I don't know. I don't get the score sheets anymore, so I can't read from that either, so I have no clue what's going on. Pat McConaughey. Of course, that's sort of been the way I've always done things. No clue. Connor Long over to the far side on the breakout. And Chris Michael took the shot, ran into traffic. Flip to the near side. Gage Davis. Davis clears it. And taken by Connor Long. Long will set it up behind his own goal. Connor Long puts it on the near side. Up ahead for Matt Wesley. Now flipped into the zone by Johnny Brown. Back behind the goal line over to the far side. Michael out to the point. They shot. They saved the rebound. And cleared but not out. Michael, he got bumped off. Cleared to center ice. Wesley tried to get it back in the zone. Delay offside. Brian Kenny crosses the red line. Takes a big blaster. And the save by Brian Schilling. Now Kenny flips it in deep again. That one went a little wide over to the far side. Not much in the way of a setup on the part of the Lake Forest Scouts, and they're puck chasing on top of it. Very hard to get a goal doing things that way. Flip back down deep into the zone. Mitch Dudek. Dudek put it to the near side, and now the Ramblers clear. Diagonally into the zone. Again, both teams doing that same type of play. It's called the dump and chase. You dump it into the zone and then chase it. The big blaster off Oldenburg. Now a scrum out in front of the net, and the puck was loose, and meanwhile a bunch of little extracurricular activity on the end of it. .5:13 to play in the first period, a very lengthy first period. A lot of whistles. And another one here for the frozen puck. Right through the slot to the far side. Ward Bader up ahead for Felling. And that was taken back by the Ramblers. Merkel dumps it into the zone. Can't find the man. Taken by McNicholas. Standing breakout out ahead for Mike McConaughey. McConaughey into the zone. McConaughey dropped past it. Nobody there. Mitch Dudek. Casey Felling picked his pocket. Right in the slot. Shot. Save! Oh, my. And now some pushing and shoving. Ward Bader tried to deflect it in. Now we have a penalty coming up on the end, and we'll call that a cross check on Kevin Oldenburg. For the Ramblers. A minor for cross-checking. Ward Bader, in his frustration to try and deflect that puck in, great shot and a great save by Schilling. He was pushed down to the ice, and then as he came back up, the old cross-check by Kevin Oldenburg, and Steve Cohn called the penalty. Loose puck will bounce it around a little bit, cleared out to center ice, now put over there on that far side for McNicholas. McNicholas up ahead, and now back into the Lake Forest end. Lake Forest with the man advantage. Fed to the blue line and then cleared by the Ramblers. Back behind the goal line. Casey Felling up ahead for Pat McConaughey. He tried to find his brother Mike, and that didn't quite work, although they got it into the Ramblers' end of the ice. Cleared ahead, and we'll try a cherry pick move, and that didn't work. McNicholas back the other way. McNicholas into the zone, now cleared. On the far side, Pat McConaughey. Now Connor Long, he got bumped off. Pat McConaughey tried to find the man jumping up the slot, nothing doing. Deep into the zone. You can see in a power play situation the type of stuff that I've been talking about. All three of the attacking Lake Forest Scouts were behind the goal line and not in front of the net. There's no way you can score a goal like that. It's very difficult to score a goal like that unless you do one of two things. Either bring it out, in which case the defense has a chance to get there, or feed it out to the point and try and reset up the play. But you really can't set up a play in a situation like that. Now the draw is controlled by the Scouts, and they put it back into the corner. Dudek. And everybody tied everybody up and cleared the length of the ice. The Scouts with the man advantage for another 15 seconds or so. Off the skates, back deep again, and the Lake Forest Scouts will set it up again. Go down that far side. Now back to the near side, underneath the stick of Kenny and held in the zone. Picked up by Johnny Brown. Johnny Brown got bumped off, and Brian Kenny tried to cherry pick it ahead, and that was smelled out. Into the zone came Chain, and a whistle for the stoppage of play as a penalty coming up for tripping. Ward Bader. Lake Forest penalty. Ward Bader, a minor for tripping. We're in Winnetka again. I do not have my hockey schedule for the rest of the year yet. Combination of factors. But we'll let you know as soon as we know. Out to the high slot, the big blaster. Ran into traffic, now grabbed and held on the long shot from the high slot. And Taylor Rice makes a decision to hold on to the puck. They're down a man. 2:14 to play here in this first period. Now we're set again for the face-off. And the Scouts clear. Leahy skates it ahead. Leahy crosses the red line, the blue line, into the zone. Leahy and McNicholas. Now there's a shot and goal! Matt O'Connor with the goal. Or is it? No goal. The net was dislodged, apparently. No goal. And apparently dislodged by one of the Ramblers. So the faceoff will move outside the zone. No goal. The net dislodged. Put it in the net. Now O'Connor. Leahy, far side. The big blaster by Leahy, that's a little wide. Loyola a little bit better on putting somebody in the slot, but an attempted run by one of the Loyola Ramblers didn't quite work. Now picked up by Matt O'Connor. O'Connor tried to get fancy, lost the puck, picked up, and now given right back to O'Connor. Matt O'Connor into the zone. Matt O'Connor tried to center it or backhand the shot from deep. On the far side, out to the point, and cleared. Put to the near side. And the Ramblers feed it ahead and misled it all the way down into the zone. Rice way out of the rink, out of his area on the rink, and no harm, no foul. Casey Felling lost his stick. Connor Long came up with the puck, cleared out, and the standing breakout. Again, that's that case of that man not being in position and turning the wrong way. And in the process, the puck was lost out of the rink. That defenseman, that winger coming back was out of position, and so he had his back to the way you want to feed that puck in that situation, which is out of your attack zone, your defensive zone rather, and set up the play. Cleared back down to the near side. Out to center ice. Back into the Lake Forest end, and the Lake Forest defense having all kinds of problems as the horn sounds, ending the period. At the end of the first period of play, the Ramblers lead it 2-0. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Roenick. You're watching high school hockey on Metro Chicago Sports Network.
The Metro Chicago Sports Network, welcome back. All set to get underway with the second period of tonight's hockey action. The Lake Forest Scouts and the Loyola Ramblers. Ramblers leading it 2-0. As we get underway, the drop and the draw controlled by no one. Now the Ramblers busted in. Walter Jacobson couldn't come up with the puck. And cleared back out to center ice. Oldenburg, and he waited too long. Now picked up by the Ramblers. Gage Davis got into the, McNicholas rather, got into the zone. And now after the play, we got a penalty coming up for tripping. Got a hold of McNicholas as he got upended. McNicholas got upended, and the penalty on one of the Ramblers for tripping. And the face-off inside the zone. Back behind the goal line. Right into the slot. And the Ramblers clear it ahead, overlet it. We had a penalty, I guess, at the end of the period. Connor Wong. Now picked up and cleared by the Ramblers. Turns out to get shot on goal. Shows you where I was. Back behind the goal line. And the Scouts on the breakout. Flipped into the zone. Oh, we just had the penalty. The Earth come in, please. Back behind the goal line. As the Scouts set it up. Nearly interference call. And down by 2 men, but up by 2 goals. The Ramblers in a 5-on-3 situation, or 3-on-5. Kenny put it in deep. Tilker looking for it. Tilker puts it to the near side. Now back over to Tilker. Cleared out to the point. Kenny holds it in the zone. The shot that ran into traffic out front, or perhaps he got too much of the puck. Back behind the goal line, now off the side of the net, and then cleared by Loyola. The Trevians, New Church Trevians, will finish in first place in the first half of the season, and the Lake Forest Scouts will finish in second. And there is a completely wild battle for all the other middle line positions. Last time I checked, there was only about 2 or 3 points separating everybody. And no one has been playing particularly well during that stretch, so it's kind of a case of the fate of your team isn't necessarily based on what you do, but also based on what other people are doing. And the Lake Forest Scouts are kind of caught in that position. They have to win, and they have to find something that works and help other people do as well. Reminds me of a year when we used to have a single elimination round robin in the Scholastic Cup bracket. All 4 teams that had 1 win and 1 tie, and it kind of depended on who did what to who. You only had 1 team advancing out of the 8-team league and 1 team advancing out. So it kind of like required you not only to win, but required somebody else to lose in order to advance on that last day of the playoffs. Kind of a similar situation here in the first half of the season this year. Right into the slot. Knocked out of there. That's about 20 years ago, I think, that happened. McNicholas with the big blaster and the pull out of the air by Schilling. .9:58 to play in the period. Everybody back to being copacetic. And a bit delayed on the face-offs. I think we're ready to go. There we are. The draw controlled by the Ramblers, and they flip it over onto the far side. Skoglund, Danowitz with the shot, and that went wide. Over on the near side, Davis took the man. Now Davis has the puck again. Tried to find it through the slot. Danowitz was busting up that slot with the pass misconnections. Danowitz has it again. Danowitz back into the zone. Held in at the point. And we'll play a little game of shinny along that far side boards. Miller got it to center ice. And actually off the glass on the side of the scorer's table. Back when I first started working in hockey, that was a completely open area. And that puck would have come close to hitting me.
Come out this way.
Now the face-off going to take place right down here on the far side, right in front of the Loyola bench. The Ramblers strong-arm it back to their own defense. Picked up by Matt O'Connor. And now the Scouts clear to the red line. Mitch Dudek flipped it into the zone. McNicholas will chase it down. The defenseman has it back behind his own goal line. Puts it to the near side on the standing breakout. And that broke down. Again, Dudek tried to get it into the zone. Now we'll play a game of shinny along the red line. And the Ramblers dump in again. On that far side, now they high slot the shot wide by Leahy to the side of the net and grabbed and held on by Taylor Rice.
You okay there?
The New Trier Trevians and the Loyola Ramblers Gold team are the only teams that have had any sort of consistency as a general rule over the season. And the Ramblers not too strong on that. Not certainly as strong as the Trevians. The Trevians, after an initial tie in the first game of the season to these Lake Forest Scouts, have gone 10-0 on the season. Next week, 2 tournament games. At least that's our tentative schedule next week. 2 tournament games. Bouncing around a little bit, now flipped into the zone by Casey Filling and cleared back out to center ice. Kenny has it there, puts it to the far side. Off the board, picked up by Johnny Brown. Brought it into the zone. Now Pat McConaughey. McConaughey got it into the zone. And deep in the corner, Carter Long and the crew, they all kind of battle along, centered, and now taken by the Ramblers. The shot and a goal! Chris Michael. Brought it up the slot, put it home, and it's 3-0. In favor of the Loyola Ramblers on the goal by Chris Michael. Yeah, something wrong with the puck. Steve Cohn goes over to get a new one.
Come on, Gage.
And with the score, 3-0. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more hockey action in just a moment. And following the goal, we're back underway. McNicholas off the boards for Davis. Davis clears it to center ice. Connor Long dumped it back in the zone, right back out to the far side. And flipped back in by Chula, I believe that was. Near side. Now McNicholas, and he overskated it behind his own goal. And we'll play a little game of loosey-goosey. Back behind the goal. Tried for the shovel shot. And a goal, I believe. Yes, it is. A goal. O'Connor brought it in again. Didn't pass it, but this time managed to get the shovel away and the goal. And it's 4-0. And J.P. McIntosh going to come in. Out goes Taylor Rice for a while. And McIntosh comes in as it's 4-0 in favor of the Loyola Ramblers. The face-off on the near side. The big blaster into the zone. Back behind the goal line, over to the far side. And we'll shove it along there into the slot. Bader, he couldn't get the shot away. Brought to the near side. And now Bader clobbers the man. Leahy right into the slot off a skate. And held on by Schilling. A little stuff all over the place. Jimmy Shremser on Walter Jacobson. Had a very interesting conversation with one of our former Metro North players playing for St. Mary's in Winona, Minnesota. And he was talking about priorities and that education was more important than the hockey, but he loves playing the game at Division III level. Went right there from Metro North. There's a shot. Tinkler, a bouncing puck. The save, and in the scrum, and we got a penalty coming up for holding, it appears to be, on one of the Ramblers, I would guess. Making a cross check. Minor for cross-checking at 5:41 to play here in the second period.
Come on, Mac.
And we're set for the face-off. They draw Leahy. Out to McNicholas, the big blaster, the deflection attempt, that just didn't work. Casey Felling. And cleared out to center ice. Back into the Scouts end, taken by Shremser. Shremser puts it to the near side, and now we give and go back into the zone. Pat McConaughey shot it just wide. Ricochets off the leg and out to center ice. Taken there by McNicholas. He and Michael had a little push and shove. Pat McConaughey passes it. Casey Felling into the slot. Shot ran into the sticky wickets out front. Now the blaster backhand. Oh my! Little deflection attempt in there by Pat McConaughey, and it didn't quite work. There were two Scouts on that back door, and the puck went through too hard for any of them to deflect it home. They did have the open net. McIntosh leaves it there behind his own goal. Taken to the near side and now cleared out to center ice. Back into the Rambler end. And now Frank Harrison clears it the length of the ice, where Shremser has it again. Pat McConaughey on the standing breakout tried to find his man, did so. Ward Bader. Bader tried to split the defense, did so. Backhand shot. And a goal! Pat McConaughey, I think, actually got it. Ward Bader gets the assist on the goal that makes it 4-1. Let's pause down the network line for station identification. This is the Metro Chicago Sports Network. Give all our affiliates their opportunity to put in their own station identifications. There's a shot and a save. We're going to have to start doing that now because of the numerous cable affiliates that do our broadcast. Out into the slot. Near side, now cleared off the glass. Flip back down into the zone, and that's going to be icing against the Scouts.
That's my shot to go.
Hey, icing against the Scouts. Leahy with the shot. That ran into traffic. He tried it again. Got it into the zone. Now put to the near side. Out, and Shula dribbled it out to center ice. Wasn't trying to do that, apparently. Now the Scouts clear it. Back into the zone. Down to 3 minutes and change here to play in the second period. 4-1 in favor of the Loyola Ramblers. This year, really we got three teams that have at this point, appear to have some sort of opportunity, solid opportunity of winning state. I've seen some of the other teams that everyone has said, well, they're going to be rather strong. I think really we got three. That is these Loyola Ramblers. We got a penalty coming up. For interference, Pat McConaughey. I think we have some legitimate players, some legitimate teams here, but only three that have what I would call the odds-on favorite. And that would be Mount Carmel, Nutria Green, and these Loyola Ramblers Gold, but Gold being the outsider with the longest odds here. And New Trier also, this year, everybody has some glaring weaknesses. I was talking to one of the New Trier coaches the other day. In fact, before this game, we were discussing some of the glaring problems that they're having. Now here come the Ramblers. Slowly, they've got the man advantage, but you wouldn't know that by the way that they're playing. Flip back down to the blue line. Cleared ahead on a cherry pick, a long dish out. Instead of these long passes, go with the short, crisp ones. Backdoor attempt, and that was stopped by McIntosh and cleared the length of the ice. Brian Schilling left it there for Connor Long. Connor Long brings it up the ice. Connor Long had his pocket picked by Gage Davis and flipped back down into the zone. The bad chase on. And the puck pops free, and the Ramblers now a little push on the end of that play. Back in the Ramblers' end. And it ended up that it was offside. Offside against the Lake Forest Scouts. And the face-off from where the puck was shot. Joey Chula put it to the far side. Into the zone by Leahy, and then cleared again back out to center ice. The Ramblers trying to regroup again. On the near side, boards now picked up by the Scouts, and they'll clear it the rest of the way down. Leahy, Tim Leahy, sets the play. Gave it to O'Connor. Matt O'Connor will try again for the end-to-end. That didn't work. Chula near side. And now flip down into the zone. Left there by McNicholas. By McIntosh. Over on the far side, out to the point. The shot. And that just went a little wide to the near side. Chula. And they push it along the boards on that near side, out to the point. Chula off a skate. The shot by Miller and directed to the far side boards. Ramblers again bring it deep with only Miller standing there in the slot. And boy, if ever you don't want a player to be standing there in the slot, it will be Charlie Miller. First of all, Miller has a tendency to blow his cool on occasion, although he's done better this year than I've ever seen him. But the other problem is that he's too small if a team's going to be physical with you at all. They have him standing there. Now, ironically, Lake Forest, who has the size, as on instructions from the coach, I would assume, stopped being physical in that situation because of the propensity for the penalties. They've got a penalty coming up for high sticking. Somebody cracked somebody over the head. Minor for high sticking with 20-some-odd seconds left to play. A few ticks of the clock left to play here in the second period. Ward Bader gets the minor for high sticking. And a face-off will come outside the zone. And the Scouts coaching staff not too pleased with that. Dave Sayeta, the linesman. First year I was in sports, he was coaching Steinmetz High School, the Silver Streaks of Steinmetz. Boy, that was a team that was destined for immortality. Talk about bad hockey team. Now at the end, a little extra push and shove, but in the meantime, the second period has come to an end, and the Ramblers lead it 4-1. We'll be back with the third period in a moment. The third period just about underway here tonight between the Lake Forest Scouts and the Lake Forest Scouts and the Loyola Ramblers. Excuse me, the Loyola Ramblers leading this one 4-1. And we did have a few penalties on the end of that, coincidental roughs on the end of the last period. Over on that far side now, the give and go brought to the near side. Skoglund right through, shot and a save, and the net dislodged. Just 15 seconds into the third period. That's the Lake Forest student contingent with their bottles of root beer and whatever. Out to the point, Leahy. Cleared to center ice, now picked up by McConaughey. McConaughey dumps it into the zone. Back behind the goal line. Tilker tried to get to it, and Schilling got there first. So Rice, by the way, back in goal now for the Scouts. Rambler set it up behind the goal line. Whoops! Leahy skated ahead and forgot the puck. Now set up again back behind that goal line. Tilker, the forechecker. Now Leahy brings it forward, and the Scouts clear. Schilling wraps it to the near side. Tilker. And the Ramblers. Skoglund. And misled the pass. O'Connor takes the shot, and a goal! From the slot through the sticky wickets. I don't think Taylor Rice saw that puck at all. I think he was screened. And Matt O'Connor with the goal, that makes it 5-1 now. in favor of the Loyola Ramblers. The score in favor of the Loyola Ramblers on the goal by Matt O'Connor. I think that's his second, might be his hat trick. I'm not really sure. Kind of depends on if there was a deflection in one of those goals. Again, I don't get the score sheets anymore, so I have no clue who does what scoring-wise. I just get the scoring leaders on occasion. Frozen puck and the whistle. The draw taken by the Lake Forest Scouts. They clear it out to center ice. Near side, now picked up by Connor Long. Long puts it in the zone. The Ramblers set up the play, overled the pass, and Brian Kenny fit it back. We'll play a little game of catch between the blue lines now. And John Brown brings it into the zone. Brown takes the shot to save the rebound, and Rice was there for it. Peyton Chain back behind the goal line, and again, a little extra push and shove. Out to the point. The big cranker by Dudek, and the save. And in the process, Rice lost his stick. Now a little extra. Johnny Brown just happened to be nearby. But Rice lost his stick. I think the assumption that Taylor Rice had was that he lost the stick because of Johnny Brown. But Brown came in well after that whistle. Now the face-off. Cleared. Up ahead, here come the Scouts into the zone. Little weak backhander, and Schilling there. Schilling puts it to the near side. Litza. And Crew, and they push it along the boards there. The puck is free. Whoops. Picks it up and grabs it. And in doing that, that is a delay of game. Delay of game penalty against Frank Harrison. Harrison a minor for delay of game. As it came back to him, he picked it up and tried to fling it. And that is a delay of game. Even if he closed his hand on the puck in that situation, it's a delay of game. If he would have left it on the ice and flipped it ahead, that would not have been a delay of game. Cleared ahead, out to center ice. Taken on the near side. Little game of loosey-goosey with it. A big blaster. And now taken by the Lake Forest Scouts. To the far side, the big shot, the save, loose puck, picked away by Peyton Chain, out to the point, and that was high and wide, near side, grabbed and held on. The face-off, following the frozen puck, Kenny with the shot, then ran into leg, ran into the back of, I believe that was Felling, or maybe it was Bader. The big shot, and grabbed out of the air and held on by Schilling. That was not a shot on goal. We're going to go up overhead. This is high school hockey. We don't know what our hockey schedule is going to be from now on. the rest of this season because the playoffs, the second seed schedule is not out at this point. Our next regular season basketball game is New Trier versus Waukegan coming up the week of January 11th. Next week here on the network, some of the tournament play from the holiday season, picked up by Brian Kenny now. Brian Kenny feeds it ahead, and the pass didn't quite work to Bader. Now late, he puts it to that far side. Bader tried to find the point, and the Loyola Ramblers do, but they're still penalty killing. Brian Kenny ran into a leg, and the puck never got into the zone. McConaughey tried to force it in there, and instead Peyton Chain comes up with it. Peyton Chain off the glass and cleared to center ice, picked up by the Ramblers. Sorry about that, Peyton. Now it's taken by Mike McConaughey. Into the zone. McConaughey, sweet move, and got it to the corner. He got bumped off. Now over on that far side, Pat McConaughey, and the Ramblers break it away. The Scouts with it. Bring it to the line. The shot and the save, and kicked out of there by Schilling. And we lose a puck and gain a face-off. The draw kind of sits there. Everybody going to play a little game with it. Back behind the goal line. Put over here on the near side boards. Out to the point. Tremser held it in. Put to the corner. Battled for again. And we'll see who strong arms it away first. It was the Ramblers. Scouts set it up behind their own goal. Backhanded out to center ice. Ramblers control. Go to the near side. Tremser now backhanded in deep. Matt Wesley put it to the far side. And the Ramblers clear it to center. Danowitz put it in the zone and forget it. It's offside. That left winger had never cleared. Or didn't clear in time. Flipped all the way back into the zone. Now Brian Kenny with the shot. And the save by Schilling. Out to the point. Brian Kenny held it in the zone. Ward Bader with the blast and the save. And cleared. For an icing call. And the face-off coming up inside the Loyola end. The face-off is controlled by the Ramblers. They lead it 5-1 here in the third period. Out to the point. Brian Kenny put it back behind the goal line. Gage Davis put it to the near side. Connor Wong put it back over on the far. And they kind of move it along there. On the near side, Ramblers control. Dan Skoglund. Drop past it. Connor Long. To the near side. Up ahead, Peyton Chain, and he got framed. Near side. And Chain couldn't come up with the puck. Picked up by Pat McConaughey. McConaughey into the zone. Centered it. Nobody there. And I do mean nobody. Cleared ahead. Skoglund to the back door. Shot, and that's wide. Down the man goes. And the judges award a 6.5 on that spin. The big blaster by McNicholas, and the save. And again, flipped back down into the zone, taken there by Connor Long. Long looking for it. Cleared. And a whistle. There you see where we are in the proceedings. As we face off. No. The draw won by Chris Kirby. The shot just wide. Far side. Or Casey Kirby. Chris is his brother. To the corner. And finally popped free by the Ramblers. Charlie Miller back out to the point. The big blaster, and that's wide. Loyola is not going to play in the Blackhawk charity tournament. But both Mount Carmel and New Church Green are. We'll see if they end up playing for the championship of that tournament. Chula rather. Chula gave it to O'Connor. He'll have to wait for the guy inside, so he gave up the puck. Gave it right back to O'Connor, Matt O'Connor. Put it to the near side underneath Chula's stick. Chula kept it in the zone briefly. Now the Ramblers again will play a little game of catch back and forth along that blue line for a while. And now into the zone, and there's a shot. Now Machana dribbles to the goal and held on by Brian Schilling. The action sometimes goes faster than my mouth is able to keep up with it. And on the end of this, we got a penalty for roughing. On one of the Ramblers. Rambler minor for roughing. And the face-off coming up inside that Rambler end of the ice. Offside at the face-off. Pat McConaughey jumped the gun a little bit. And Casey Felling will be kicked out of there, and Pat McConaughey will go in to face it off. Maybe that was why he did it, so he could get the honor of facing it off. He lost the face-off. Now we got another penalty on the end of that, and this one on Pat McConaughey for that slash, I believe. There are coincidental penalties for roughing, it appears. Roughing and slashing, yes. Oldenburg will get the rough, and McConaughey will get the slash, I believe. And another face-off. Coincidental minors here. This is the Metro Chicago Sports Network, and lots of sports coming up in 1998. We hope you'll be with us. For all the sports action now cleared, not out. Kenny kept it in the zone. On the far side, now held in. Turn around and cleared. by the Loyola Ramblers. Scouts set it up behind their own goal. Overskated. Oh my, Johnny Brown in, shot and goal. A little whoops on the part of the Lake Forest Scouts, and it's 5-1. Changes to 6-1 in favor of the Loyola Ramblers on that sloppy play on the part of the Lake Forest Scouts. Six to 1 the score. The Ramblers in command of this one, and with this supposed victory I think they clinched second place with their victory against Deerfield, but securing that second place. There's a shot, a goal, right back by the Lake Forest Scouts. I believe Gage Davis got that. Not exactly over-enthusiastic by the goal when you're down by 4. You know, teams that come back like that, try to come back, are teams that can get up even though they're down by a couple of goals and try and do some things right. Now Schremser has it behind the net, over to the far side, Davis. And the puck sits along the boards, now dumped in deeper by Jacobson, wrapped around to the near side. And out come the Scouts. Davis. Oh my, offside. Wes Screw was in way ahead of the plate over on the far side, and he had nowhere to go. He had nothing he could do about that one. Now the big Franker dumped into the zone, back over to that far side. Back behind the goal line. Kicked by Dudek. Now hand passed it. That's good in your own zone, your own defensive zone. There's a big shot, and that went wide. 6-2 now the score. Over on that far side, now picked up and cleared out to the point. Schremser couldn't keep it in the zone, and that's offside. And a little extracurricular chawing at each other back at the blue line. I'll call that one intentional and move it all the way back deep. If you will, something of a delay of game here, and moved in deep into the, moved back into the Lake Forest defensive end. Offside at the face-off. Now the actual face-off takes place, and the Scouts bust it out. Ward Bader brings it to the goal. Shot saved. Left there. Swept out of harm's way by the Loyola defender. Back behind the goal line. Right into the slot again. And now the Ramblers bring it the other way. Skoglund, he had his pocket picked by Casey Felling. Felling had to wait for the guy inside and then backhanded it into the zone. Connor Long has done yeoman service today on defense for the Ramblers. He has been out there quite a bit. Flipped back down into the zone. The man chase on, and that's icing with a minute 41 to play here in the third period. Stick around, basketball action coming up next here on the network as the Trevians take on the Maine East Demons. this time of year. The problem is that we kind of get ourselves backed up a little bit. All this sports activity around the holidays. And so in order to keep us going during the holiday time when we're off doing tournaments and all kinds of fun things, we kind of back up some of these games, and that's why you're seeing these games about 2 weeks after they actually were played. We have a whistle. And a penalty on Connor Long for tripping. Connor Long, a minor for tripping. And so the Ramblers will skate short a man to the end of the game. Actually, we also have an added problem in that some of our cable stations sort of take a vacation. Those of our group that run our tapes, they between the holidays take breaks. So it's like even if we had games that we could play, we can't play them because there's no one there to run the tapes for us at each one of those cable companies. And like I said, because of tournament schedules, I don't have time to run these tapes between the various different cable companies. McNicholas tried to split the defense. Now Ward Bader, they've got McNicholas kind of up at a forward here. There's a shot that gets in, and I don't think it would have counted. It sure looked to me like McNicholas was in that crease. The save anyway by Schilling, and the face-off. Next week, tournament broadcast, and then the week after that, we know a basketball action. Don't know what our hockey game will be yet. Our basketball game will be New Trier and Waukegan. To the near side, Schremser takes the shot, and that just went a little wide. Over to the far side, a big blaster, and that boomed wide. Brought again to the near side. All this action way out high. Nothing set up in the slot. Now the little backhander and the save by Schilling. And another penalty coming up for boarding on one of the scouts as the game winds down here. 6-2 the score. The penalty on the scouts for boarding moves the face-off outside the zone. And the face-off coming up. Let's see if we can get that actual puck hitting the ice here. Yeah, it was there briefly and back into the Ramblers' end. Flipped into the zone. And as it dribbled towards the goal, Taylor Rice grabs on and holds on for the whistle. And the derisive cheer from the Loyola players, the Loyola fans, down in that corner. Actually, today it was kind of weird because both Loyola and Lake Forest fans are, the student contingents are right next to each other here in the stands. And here come the scouts back in the zone. Kilker takes the shot, the save, and held on by Schilling. I think that these goalies have been told to hold everything. And that's what's going on here, why there have been so many whistles. Anything you can get a hold of, grab it and hold on and get the face-off. And I think that's the current style that somebody is instructing these goalies to do. as the horn sounds ending the game. Final score, the Loyola Ramblers 6 and the Lake Forest Scouts 2. This is Mark Braun. Hope you've enjoyed our hockey broadcast. Stick around, basketball coming up next. And I say, as always, so long, everybody.